You're listening to Risk and Resolve, where leadership, business, and risk management collide. We bring you real conversations, sharp insights, and strategies for success. And now for your hosts, Ben, Conner, and Todd Hufford.
Welcome back to another episode of Risk and Resolve. I'm Ben Conner alongside Todd Hufford, and today's special guest is Erik Braden, managing partner of Braden Business Systems. And Erik and I have had some parallel paths here for the last couple of years, with Erik being a 2021 40 under 40 IBJ with that recognition alongside myself. We both send our kids to the same school. So I see him at the daddy-daughter dances and things like that. And we also enjoy the mountaintops and the valleys of running a family business. So we got a lot to dive into today, but that's something that inviting Erik on the pod, I was excited just because we've had so many parallel worlds that we've run in together. So it's nice to actually get some FaceTime and to hash it out in front of the entire audience. So how about that?
Let's bring it on, Ben. It's going to be fun.
All right, Erik. Before we dive into the business, why don't you give us just a thumbnail sketch of your growing up, where you grew up, and what that was like, where you went to school, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so Hoosier born and raised, right here in Indianapolis. My whole family's from Greencastle, Indiana, kind of farmers origination. But grew up mainly in Fisher since 1992 when there wasn't really much here. So you'll hear about that journey from then onwards. Went to Hamilton Southeastern High School, and then went to Kelley School of Business down at IU Bloomington. Studied accounting, finance, economics, and also got an MBA at the time. And actually went to my dad and asked him, probably my second year down at Kelley, I'm like, hey, I want to work on this mythical place called Wall Street. And I didn't quite know what that was, but I wanted to go do it. And I'm like, people, you're successful in business, right? And he's like, I am, but I don't know anybody on this place called Wall Street, but I do know how to pick up the phone. So that's exactly what I went and did. I picked up the phone and called every single person that I could. Most said no, most didn't pick up. Most had no clue what I was calling about, but it was trying to get an internship at the time. So I finally got a hold of this poor woman at Bear Stearns, Los Angeles, and she said, call back in 6 months. So I did that. Call back in another 6 months. I did that. And I finally wore her down. She's like, come on out, kid. You're the only state school kid that from the Midwest that's going to be here, but you got a job. So the rest is history. I had a long career on Wall Street. I was an M&A banker, private equity, before I joined the family business, Braden Business Systems today. And I've been doing this probably the last 10 years. So a lot to tell about the family business, of course, but I'll leave it at that.
Very good. Look at you. Just the tenacity to just work it out. We wouldn't take no for an answer.
Yeah, and the punchline is actually I ended up getting my wife. I met her in New York, and two beautiful kids. So if you pick up the phone, you never know where that's going to take you guys. So never be afraid.
Dude, that is awesome. So
don't ask
my
wife.
Yeah, right. So you're working on Wall Street, and seems like there's some sort of a magnetic pull back to the business. Can you give us a little bit about kind of what was going through your mind and why did you want to come back to the business? Maybe what the opportunity was for you there?
Yeah, I'd had a great career as far as Wall Street. I worked at JP Morgan for a while. I got to work with Jamie Dimon, which was cool, working on some of the largest transactions in history, actually, before going to private equity. Made kind of junior partner at that point. It was very difficult for me to leave that because I do enjoy investing and that whole lens of it, but really didn't find my true calling until I saw that my family business needed my skill set in the next chapter of our evolution. My dad started our company in 1989 out of my house. So entrepreneurial household, didn't have much growing up. And he started with the technology of the day called the fax machine, pre-internet, pre-email, prehistoric, if you will. And we're not doing that still today. I'll tell you more about that. But yeah, that's a little bit about why what went through my head was that I saw my family business to the point in time around 28 employees and thought that my skill set could help take us to the next level and add value for more clients, more partners in the community.
Very good. So we talked about skill set. So your skill set is M&A, right? So when you come into the business, is that when you guys think about growth, is that really the trajectory of your business was, hey, we need to grow organically. We want to grow in our community, but also there's a great opportunity for M&A in our space?
Yeah, absolutely. There's been consolidation in most industries, including ours, as you've probably seen over the last decade or two, and that's going to continue. We've acquired 14 companies over the last 10 years since I've joined, of various sizes, and we'll continue to do them selectively as long as they serve our people and our clients and our mission and our community. We'll continue to look at that. But you're right, that's my skill set. I also, from a private equity perspective, sat on boards of companies. So I was, firing CEOs and C-suite individuals. So I got that experience at a pretty young age as well. So I brought that into team building, understanding, delegate, elevate, making sure people are in the right seats. We're an EOS shop, so that's definitely put a framework around our business and really raised the bar.
Erik, you talked about the vision of Braden. What is it? What is the vision when you think about even short, intermediate, and long term?
It's really to simplify technology for companies and individuals so they can get their time back to spend where they most feel compelled to use it. So, we want to make sure people use technology to their advantage to go to their kids' Little League games, for instance. That's just one anecdote. And we do that in a variety of ways now. It's not just the fax machine, although it was beautiful technology at the time. We're doing everything from AI consulting at the moment, which is extremely hot and helping people get massive efficiencies on that, to, easier things like having print infrastructure, managed print services, managed IT services, cybersecurity, et cetera. So we try to be along the path of the client to keep them ahead of the game in technology so they can make sure their employees are productive and they're satisfied in their work environment.
So 1989, Dad starts it. What were the main products and services in the early 90s?
Yeah, the early 90s were just phasing from the fax machine to the prehistoric big box copiers, the first multi-function printers back then. And they may have only printed. And then eventually now what you see today is multi-function print. So they print, scan, fax, and make lattes. Ours do anyway.
Right.
You probably don't have one of those. We'll talk later.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of what it evolved to during the 90s. And we did a phenomenal job, and we still are one of the largest managed print service vendors in the country, really. I'm in one of the groups that are the top 100. So we still do a great business in that. And believe it or not, it's growing, and we're growing in every aspect of our business. And some clients use us just for our print technology. Some use us for everything.
Yeah. So back in the early days, you were a seller and a leaser and a servicer of physical technological equipment, right?
Oh, correct. And we still are to this day. I mean, we've got a whole demo room here at our office, corporate office in downtown Fishers, where we can show you the latest and greatest technology in that arena. And we also sell server infrastructure, cloud infrastructure, you name it. A lot of it is becoming more digital and cloud these days, but we're Azure, AWS, you name it. Whether it's on-prem or off-prem in the cloud or data center, we can help you.
When did that transition begin to happen in your space, where you go from being just a seller of printers and fax machines to something that looks a little bit more like an outsourced technology company?
Yeah, we really view ourselves as agnostic to the technology and more of a consulting for the client and pushing their business forward. So whatever your pain point is, sometimes people start with us just when their copier is up for renewal. We'll start with that. But once they get to know us, they realize we can add value in almost every aspect of their business and pushing them forward. So we just start with wherever their biggest pain point is. And once they partner with us, they end up expanding that naturally once they realize we're phenomenal in most areas. I'm a bit biased, but we are high on NPS score, CSAT score, you name it. So we only deliver excellence here at Braden. And really, that was my dad's foundation. It's a non-negotiable here for our companies to deliver positive outcomes for clients.
So you mentioned your dad's foundation. So you're off working for Bear Stearns, doing the M&A deal, working JP Morgan. How far were you into that career before you felt that tug? Like, this might not be a forever thing. I might want to go back.
I think it was more of, New York was great. Well, I enjoyed that. I had an itch to get back to the Midwest. I'd married my wife at the time, and we were planning kids and children. And I saw, women pushing strollers on the subway. I'm like, that's not going to be me. I'm from the Midwest. I like my space.
Yep.
There's cornfields here at the time. I knew it was going to be built up a little more than that. But the Midwest is a great place to raise children and build a family. That was probably part of it. Also, part of it was just knowing that our business was only to a certain point, and it needed my next, not that I'm the end all be all by any means, but I did have a skill set that I thought could be advantageous to our company and our people. I mean, a lot of the people here, they've been here 25. We've got 35 going on 40-year people here at Braden that were like aunts and uncles to me.
Yeah.
Shout out to you if you're watching this, you know who you are. But it's incredible. We're a 4th-generation business at this point, and I just wanted to come in and give everything that I had to make sure that they had longevity, a sustainable career, and maximum opportunity. And I thought that I could help do that.
Yeah. So was your dad the type, and there's all sorts of different personalities when you talk about family business and business owners. Was he the type to sort of drop little hints at Thanksgiving and say, well, we just lost Dave and you'd be really good at what Dave did? Or was he the type that just didn't say anything and sort of let you figure it out on your own?
He never said anything, and I think he did recommend that. And I didn't want to join the family business. I wanted to get the heck out of Indiana, and I did. And by the way, I'm kissing the earth because Indiana is the best place on earth. But growing up as someone wanted to get out in the world, I went to Los Angeles, Zurich, Switzerland, and New York, and realized the grass wasn't greener. Those are great places, but Indiana, it's just grown on me, and now I absolutely am in love with the state. I want to do everything that I can to support it in the community here. So, he never really applied pressure on me, and it was never really a foregone conclusion. It aligned with what I saw, the inflection point we were at. Like I said, a successful company by any means, but I thought we could take it to the next level with some M&A transactions, diversifying the business into what I talked about, previously into, a full-blown technology service provider rather than just one product. That's what I've been able to help us achieve and help our clients achieve. Really, at the end of the day, it's to serve the client. And a lot of our clients were asking us for network help at the time. Back in 2014, when we got in the managed IT space, and we acquired a company, of course, from 1999, their legacy, and just we're able to help clients more. That's really my guiding principle to building business, is to follow where the client needs.
Yeah, you mentioned people wanting to get out of town when you graduated high school and college. I graduated your same high school, Hamilton Southeastern, 96. And I vividly remember so many people, they wanted to leave and they left. But you know what? Just like you, many, if not all of them, they all came back.
Yeah. And that's part of the reason why we, did our headquarters here in Fishers, is I wanted to be a part of that next chapter of what Fishers could look like. And of course, I've become really good friends with Scott Fadness up here. And I bought into his vision, and I trusted his vision that he would execute on it. And it's come through slowly but surely. We were one of the first projects here, and it's just exciting to see it build up all around us. And I'm just so proud of, every little component, not that we're any sort of part of it, but we're one part of it. And I'm very proud that we made the decision to come up here and, want to continue to double down on that and help people succeed up here.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. I mean, you guys made a huge bet on going into downtown Fishers. Lots of visibility. You're right there next to the amphitheater, where there's a ton of people there, probably all year round, but certainly during the summer. What instigated that for you guys, and what kind of dividends is that paying off, just from a talent attraction or however you guys measure that?
Yeah, I think part of it must have come from my experience being in bigger cities, seeing the live, work, play environments, whether they be in Los Angeles, to a lesser extent, Zurich, Switzerland, New York City. Is how could I bring part of that culture of an environment? Where do people want to work? I wanted to build a place where people thrived at work, wanted to come to work, within the four walls and near amenities around too. So whether they be restaurants or coffee shops or trails now that have been up here, the amphitheater is an amazing asset, and all that Fishers has to offer now, like Top Golf. I couldn't have predicted that one, but thank you, Scott, for that and everything else. So it's just been incredible. The vision has really come through, and it continues to compound and flywheel itself. So
Oh.
I wanted to build a place where I wanted to work selfishly, and other people might too enjoy it.
So that really could be like, I didn't think about it until you just said it, but you went off to LA and New York City, and this is like maybe one way where there's like a microcosm of the parts of that you really did enjoy, trying to like replicate that inside of a Midwest growing suburb. That's
Look
pretty
around,
interesting.
Scott. You're welcome. I'll send this to him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's
I
pretty,
had
that's pretty
nothing to
cool.
do with it. He's phenomenal visionary. There's very few mayors like him, and just proud to continue to champion our community up here. It's been fun.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that, I mean, that type of an investment has really just kind of made probably physically and like socially, like you guys are becoming kind of the epicenter of the Fishers community. The Fishers business community kind of runs through Braden and some of those other early investors into the downtown.
Yeah, I mean, we'd like to think that we're very humble beginnings. Honestly, you should have seen what we've come from. I have. I mean, I started in diapers technically, right? So, I mean, we've come a long way. And sometimes, I was looking with my dad out of his office. He's looking around the skyline like, I just can't believe it. Like, pinch yourself, where we're at and where we're going. And the coolest part, I'd say, is just culturally, people want to work here. And not everybody says that. I mean, you have rough days. Work is hard. It is what it is. But you at least enjoy the people you're with and enjoy the environment you're in. That's really what I wanted to foster over time, and build upon that. I mean, very much the 90s was very regimented, like top down, clock in, clock out, like assembly line, forward based mentality. I just didn't see that was going to work in the future. Or work very well, rather. So I think we've got the best of both worlds. Like, we have high standards, but we also have flexibility and care about people at the end of the day. And, I would actually probably consider letting somebody go if I hear they miss their kid's Little League game and there wasn't an excuse or a backup plan. Like, that's offensive to me. And I tell people that daily.
Yeah. Is your dad still in the business?
He is, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. He's kind of our founder, our mentor, a pinch hitter if we need him. So he's around, absolutely. And in between golf rounds at times, but no, he's amazing. I love him. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to lead the next gen and be part of the mission here. But it really takes a team, Ben. You know this. I'm a very small piece of the puzzle at the end of the day. Sometimes I got some good ideas. Sometimes I got some bad ones. And, I'm just here to serve wherever I can.
Hey, Ben, I think we've scheduled with the wrong person at Braden. I don't know that Erik does anything over there. He keeps downplaying all that is there somebody else over there, Erik, we should talk to?
There's quite a few. I'm scared for you to talk to them, though.
Yeah. So you've had multiple years now working with your dad. How would you describe this season for you of working alongside your dad and growing a business together and that sort of thing?
I mean, it's been the greatest honor of my life. I couldn't have been more blessed to have this opportunity, and at times challenge, but sure. It's been the journey of a lifetime. I mean, I can't describe how amazing it's been, and amazing it continues to be. We're pretty much normally aligned on things. I think part of the cultural shift over time, maybe at the very beginning, he was coming out of the 90s regimented, view, and we've had to soften that over time. I mean, remember the pandemic? You kind of had to have some remote flexibility, didn't you? So, we morphed into that over time, into a sweet spot, if you will, and everybody's kind of adapted to the new environment. And it's just been amazing. It's been a heck of a journey. And, Dad, I love you if you're watching this. My mom had a huge part in my life too, of course, and she's really molded me with my values and, really my fortitude and faith beyond all of this that matters more than anything.
Yeah.
Erik, what impact did the pandemic have on your business? Did it create new opportunities? Did it really stall some growth? What was it, a plus or a negative for you guys?
In the short term, it was kind of a mix of both. Like, we have 10,000 clients, just to give you a heads up, all across the country, primarily in the Midwest, though, in every vertical you can think of. So our school districts were literally closed, right? Yeah. So, and we have a lot of copiers and printers in those environments, and they weren't printing. So our revenue definitely took a dip in certain verticals like that for a period of time. But then our IT sector, our IT division boomed because everybody had to get laptops overnight and be and be if they were on-prem, they had to be cloud overnight, So we were burning the midnight oil with that division, because everybody needed it all at once, and we rose to the occasion, and that division tripled. So it was kind of an interesting world. We had some dark nights and dark days, and we had some light too, and we fought through it. We band together as a team. We didn't lay off anybody during that period of time, which is very rare. That not many people can say that. But it was a weird environment. I remember driving, and I was the only person on the road. One of there are very few people in our 4-story building here in Fishers, which is it was kind of crazy. So I don't want to go back to that, but we got through it. But we only got through it because we came together. And sometimes I tell our team, like, we can get through anything, right? After that, that's really molded us. Actually, I was talking with Scott Fadness the other day. I was like in a building opening across the street, and I looked out over Fishers. I'm like, it's incredible that we had a pandemic in between when we last opened a building and then now. So It's just absolutely amazing how resilient people are at the end of the day.
It exhausted a lot of later career business owners. Did that create some acquisition opportunities for you guys?
Oh, of course. I mean, I think this is yet another, I'm kind of the 9/11 generation, so we're conditioned to chaos a little bit. I hate to say it.
Yep.
I don't like it. But now in the news, we're looking at the stuff that's going on in the news now. It's like, do I really want to go through this again? Business leaders are thinking that every day, right? Let alone the micro environment, which could be recession. Who knows? No crystal ball. But they get burnout, right? And demographics are inevitable. I was just talking to a gentleman. He's 76. He's wanting to work till 80. I'm like, all right, I understand that, but do you really want to go through the next thing?
Yeah.
And they normally get to the point where it's like, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that even in that conversation too, 76 to 80 isn't that much time.
Exactly. That's why we're never going to get out of here alive, right? So I try to play the eternal game and do what's right, no matter the circumstance. I don't always make the right decision, but try to take the long view on it, because I'll be there someday, God willing, if I make it that long. But I try to really approach, acquisition targets, if we didn't call it that, from a human perspective and apply that. So that seems to work well, and I really try to make sure that I align the outcome they're looking for with what we can win with too.
Yeah.
What are some things you learned about mom and dad through the coming back and buying into the business and all those things that maybe you didn't fully appreciate when you were not in the business and not trying to buy their equity?
Yeah, it's just been, the learnings. How long do you got? This podcast, that would be a long list. But just how much work that they took on the front end while raising children, starting something.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could start a business raising kids that needed to eat. That was just mad respect looking back. And when I coach, startup companies, I don't warn them, but I definitely tell them it's not going to be easy. And maybe it's easier now with some digital tools and products, but it's not easy still now. And I'm just amazed that the trials, the tribulations. I don't think my dad slept for the first 20 years of this business. So It's just absolutely incredible, the sacrifice. And he never missed a Little League game. That's why it's my non-negotiable. Like on Wall Street, I got ground to a pulp 150-hour weeks. I had to check how many hours there were in a week because I was there all the time. So it was, I like to have a work hard, play hard culture, but never miss your kids' Little League culture. That's probably the most important thing, because there's always more work to do.
Yeah. It always shows up tomorrow, right?
And if you're off base at home, you're going to be off base at work and with your health as well. So
how many team members does Braden have today?
Yeah, we're cracking like 120 now, I believe, give or take. So one thing I'd say is we have a big 1099 network nationwide. So that's why we can support globally 10,000 clients. So if we had a full head count and attributed all of that, we'd be around a couple thousand employees probably.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
What does that mean to you? Like when you put your head in the pillow thinking at least 120 W-2s that are counting on you and your decisions every day for their own food for their kids.
Well, hopefully they're not solely counting on me, and I built a great team. So that's really, really de-risks their situation. But I take great ownership of that. That's why I get out of bed every day, fired up to go help win anywhere that I can. It doesn't matter what it is, I'm going to go do it. That's the mentality I take every day. How can I go serve internally and externally to clients to, drive value for them ultimately? I mean, I'm just born with that. I don't know how to describe that feeling or that ownership, but like I said, a lot of people are my aunts and uncles, and the new folks coming in. Like, how can I carve a path for them by any means necessary to give them opportunity and make sure their families are stable and supported? I mean, that's, again, mission critical, and that's why I'm doing this.
Yeah. Something that just watching from, like, I wouldn't say totally afar, but just kind of watching your business and culture online, and just with the interactions I've had with you, there's a palpable, like, energy. There's a palpable positivity to you in general, and also it seems to, like, even like your business persona online is tons of energy, tons of positivity. Is that your family? Is that how you guys grew up, or where does that come from?
Yeah, I can't tell you where it came from. I mean, my dad's very similar. He's very personable, outgoing, and just giving. I mean, I think really my faith's molded me to the point where, I don't take things too seriously, because we're not going to get out of this alive, none of us. So, I mean, what's been done for me has already been done for me and all of us who believe. So ultimately, I ride every day unafraid. Do I have tough moments? 100%. I'm human. That's a fact. But at the end of the day, nothing intimidates me anymore. I mean, I used to maybe have tough moments when I was younger or be not sure of myself, but I'm pretty sure in my own skin now. And I'm going to show up willing to serve those that are in front of me. And I try to approach every situation like that. How can I help this person achieve their means to their end, however means necessary? And that reciprocity, I never ask for anything in return. It just happens, slowly but surely. And I try to teach others that do what you can to serve others and do it consistently, and it'll end up working out.
You talked about just, how things can change and that sort of thing. You're in a business that is technology, and that is probably like the fastest changing thing on planet Earth. Like, it feels like by the time you learn something, it's already different. How do you guys keep a pulse of where you want to go next when something changes so quickly? I mean, you even mentioned earlier, you guys are in, like, the AI consulting world.
Yeah.
And it's like AI consulting, or AI in general, has been more mainstream in the last couple of years. So how do you keep a pulse on that, and how do you deploy teams into that environment when it is just so new?
Yeah, it's wild to think that Monday I'll be in Vegas speaking on stage about the future of AI technology. I mean, it's this guy, not me, right? But, I've always been a student of really everything in my life. And the shortcut to knowledge has always been, for me, people and peer groups and networks. So I'm in quite a few industry leadership peer groups and networks, and I've got our team members in those as well, especially people much smarter than me with AI technology, VCIOs, CIOs, CISOs, you name it, that are in these different peer groups to soak up the best knowledge, maybe bring it back to me so we can make some decisions and drive positive outcomes for clients. I'm pretty good about packaging things up that people can understand and digest and actually get the outcome in their business, because AI is extremely overwhelming for people that are trying to do it themselves. It's almost impossible. They really need a firm like us to come in and just lay it out for them. Be like, here's how you go from A to B in your business to get the outcome you're looking for, and just make it simple. Something that's why I go back to the beginning: simplify technology and drive the outcome for the business. That's what we're in business for, period. And again, YPO has been another great resource and network for me. I try to meet pretty much every CEO in town or out of town that I can, regardless of the business. I can learn from somebody, including you, Ben. You're an expert in insurance, right? Like, if I had a question on that, you'd be on my Rolodex. So, I've gotten a lot smarter at taking a shortcut on making a phone call and getting an answer rather than struggling in an area. I'll tap our peer groups that we're in the thought leaders in our space. But what's scary is I'm becoming one of those.
Yeah, right. Um, One thing I wanted to ask you about, I see a basketball behind you.
Well, hide that. That shouldn't be Purdue. It's IU now. I use a football school. Sorry, guys. Let's block that out.
Yeah.
Now
Well,
we had
you
a
had and this is coming from an IU guy. You deployed what I thought was the most clever NIL deal with Braden Smith and having Team Braden and bringing him, alongside your organization as a spokesperson, etc. First of all, kudos. I thought that was like brilliant, hilarious, all of it. Like it's just incredible. What struck the match on that? What made you guys be like, oh, we have to do this? This is a no-brainer.
Yeah, so my marketing leader brought this idea up, so it was not my idea. Matt, you're probably watching this or will watch this. Amazing idea, but ironically, I knew Dave Neff, who ran the Boilermaker Alliance, who you probably know who's watching this. No, Dave he's running the Indy 500 now, festival now. Shout out to Dave if you watch this. I called him up and I'm randomly like, hey, my marketing guy has this idea to connect with Braden Smith. Can you hook us up? And he didn't quite, respond immediately. But a couple weeks later, he sent over contact details for the agent of Braden Smith. I'm like, this kid's got an agent. What is this? So worked out a deal with him. I think, we may not have paid as much as State Farm, who signed him up for, I think $1 million deal. I think we got in early. And we made it happen. Had him out to our office. Our team, signing autographs and giveaways. We're still doing a lot of giveaways. I didn't know he was going to break the assist record. I think I motivated him. That was what that was all about.
It must be.
So they had a great run. It was fun to watch. I was a Purdue fan for a little bit, but like I said, now I use a football school for a minute until we're back on the field next year.
Yeah, no, that was I thought that was really well done, and just thought that was a really fascinating, clever way to deploy marketing dollars. So kudos to you for doing that.
Yeah, sorry, my IU Hoosiers. Please forgive me.
What's your next best idea? It's gonna be hard to top
we got
that
a couple things up our sleeve. I think it might be on the IU lane, so you'll have to stay tuned on that to see what we're going to be doing here soon.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Well,
Go ahead,
Todd. No,
let's talk about the AI for a little bit. You mentioned, being on stage and talking about it. We're 2.5 years or so into the public availability of ChatGPT and everything. I don't know, just ramble a little bit about your opinions, your thoughts, where you see clients having the most effect on it. Let's go into some detail maybe.
Absolutely. I'd say about 2 years ago when it first came out, it was not quite ready for production in a business environment. It was more exploratory and kind of a curiosity, if you will. Still powerful, but more used as like a smart search engine, if you will.
Yep.
Now it's to the point where it can really get and drive business productivity. And by that, I mean specifically get about 6 to 12 hours per week per office worker back. So just imagine the savings in time on very simple things like note taking or drafting up emails or whipping spreadsheets and a variety of other things in a workflow environment that office workers don't even enjoy doing. And it makes them do it faster. So rather than drafting an email for 30 minutes, take 2 minutes. And those things add up very quickly with using these AI platforms, whether it's Copilot, Claude, ChatGPT, it doesn't matter. We can help you select those and implement those properly. Another big thing is people don't realize they just want to turn something on in the tool environment. It will not get adopted. It will not get adopted by Sally in accounting. No offense to Sally. I don't know a Sally in accounting, but that's what I use. Is Sally needs help on training, workshops, coaching, and use cases and help, which is fine, to get the productivity from Sally so she can continue to win in her work environment. So everyone's worried about AI taking jobs. I think that people using AI will have the jobs in the future. So I think it's incumbent on us as business leaders to equip our team with this technology and education so they can continue to compete in the marketplace, not only at our companies, but for their career. It's like basically going to battle without using like Microsoft Office or not using the internet for that matter, or Google. If you don't know those tools, you're going to have a really tough time competing in the new marketplace. So it's incumbent for every business leader to be top of mind on this. But what I found is it's not something that you can do internally. You really need a firm like us or another one to help come in and take you down the roadmap process and plan. You can't self-implement something like AI. It's way too complex. There's way too many decision points, let alone the governance, the compliance, the data architecture. We take you through the AI readiness journey as well, which is making sure your data is segregated and secure prior to running an AI implementation.
So build that out a little bit for a listener who's still saying, so what is it again Braden does with AI? You're obviously not creating the next chat GPT or Grok. That's not what you're doing. Is most of the work you supply or services you supply to customers sort of around that consulting, or are you actually building out AI tools with technology too? So take it a layer deeper.
Yeah, so we're helping you get ready to implement AI and helping you your team adopt your AI, whether it's training for your team as well, adoption workshops, and actually making sure that you get the outcomes you're looking for. And then eventually we're going to find use cases for workflows, agentic AI, not to overwhelm you, but like we can find use cases for agents to actually do certain tasks, such as customer service agent, accounting agents. There's hundreds of them.
Yeah, sure.
We can help you actually implement those in your business. Yeah, so Braden really can help you. We can help you anywhere from the beginning to the end of your AI journey. So whether you're just trying to learn about it or full-blown agentic AI, we can help implement agentics within your business. Sometimes we'll bring in partners to do that, depending on what you need. But start the journey with us, and we'll get you to the end. And that's really the foundation of our company, is solving your issue. And if we're not the right fit, we will straight up tell you. That's a big for me, is making sure that we deliver positive outcomes for clients. And we won't even take on a client that's not a fit. We're very selective about clients, and it's mission critical around here. So yeah, even the largest companies in town, they're struggling with self-implementing AI. I really view this very similar to EOS, where you should probably have like an EOS implementer. That's kind of the analogy that CEOs are getting. I need an AI implementer to come take me on this journey, because they're really struggling internally. Even people with 20-person IT teams, they can't get this off the ground because it's such a heavy lift. It's so complex. But the ones that are doing it with us are getting massive results. And I do view, either from a business perspective, it's not even going to be survival, but thriving in the next chapter, as well as the individual needs to learn these tools one way or the other.
What's the most innovative application you've seen one of your clients deploy with some of this new AI technology?
Yeah, my team probably has 100 use cases off the top of their head, but really it's as simple as automating workflows. I think AI is like overused potentially, but it's automating workflows. And a lot of these tools can be plugged in and programmed pretty quickly into your existing systems to automate certain workflows that people are manually doing right now. So literally anything that's being done manually right now in your business can be automated.
Yeah, true.
You mentioned that AI over the next basically 10 or so years will, maybe create some haves and have-nots in business. When you think of the next 10 years or so for Braden, what is your vision? What's your hope for the organization over the next 10 years?
Yeah, I've always joked with my team, this is maybe 5 or 10 years ago, that I could see Braden evolving, because we started with the fax machine to where we're at now and where we're going, that we would be, working on servicing and recommending, selling and servicing robots, whether they be physical robots or digital robots. Yeah. Now we're calling them agentic AI. So we can help you implement the agentic AI, but also you got to make sure that agentic AI doesn't break. And nobody knows how to do that except us, people like us in our industry. People need to maintain the AI, make sure it's safe and secure, and also intersects with insurance. What about insurance policies? Do you think they're going to mention AI soon if they're not already on cybersecurity insurance policies? They absolutely will. So who can make sure that you're in compliance with those insurance and make sure you're not just donating your premium? You better make sure you're compliant these days. As you probably know, Ben, more than most, is 50% of insurance claims in the cyber sector are denied now. 10 years ago it was 100% acceptance rate on a claim. Now you make a claim and they try to deny it, right? They'll come in and they'll realize there's not MFA on one device and you're out of luck.
Yeah. So the Braden family is committed to the bleeding edge of technology. So when those robots are coming out, you guys will be ready to handle that execution and support.
100%. If our clients need it, we'll be there. If they don't need it, we won't be. And that's really try to have our clients lead us where they need help. And every client needs help with AI right now. I've never seen anything like this other than the managed IT service and cybersecurity wave. Everyone needs help on that as well. And everyone needs a copier or printer too, right? But that's not, that's more of a commodity, but we can help you with that and make it better for you and for a better price. But AI is top of mind for C-suite and just companies in general. And they're very much struggling with it because I don't think the light bulbs click that they need an AI implementer like us to really help them do it right.
So the Jetsons are your future clients as you go out to their home and service Rosie the robot.
Potentially. The physical robot thing, I can't quite predict, but with Tesla's vision, possibly. They're going to have to go fix them and maintain them, and they'll probably not have enough direct employees to go do that. So they'll probably use service providers potentially like us.
You mean they won't just walk themselves to the service center and get repaired on their own?
Who knows? Maybe they'll fly in a drone. It's funny. We were actually applying with the state government. Hey, Mike, I'll see you in a couple weeks. But anyway, we're trying to apply to be the first drone technology provider to fly like our toner and our parts, if you will, to the client. Obviously, I think Amazon's going to get that done before us. But how cool would that be?
Yeah.
To have a rather than sending a car or a UPS, to send like a toner box to a client, that we could send a drone to them from our warehouse. So
can't wait.
I envision all these robots just with their heads down, walking down to downtown Fishers to the Braden office to get repaired because they can't do what they need to do.
Oh my, we'll be here. We'll be here to do.
Yeah, you guys, for sure.
Hey, off and turn it back on.
Yeah, that's the first. That's the first test. That's right. That's right. Erik, as we close down the episode or get toward the end, we have two questions that we ask all of our guests. The first question is this: what is a risk that you have taken that has changed your life?
Yeah, I think I'll speak for my wife. Marrying me was probably her biggest risk, but it does come back to my story as well. It's really the cold calling onto Wall Street. When I was young, it really taught me that taking that type of risk and vulnerability at a young age, hearing no a lot on the phone, makes you kind of, I don't want to say invincible, but you hear no a lot. And then you get to a yes and you realize that you're still standing. So that taught me resilience, being in environments like a Zurich, Switzerland, like a Los Angeles, like a New York at a young age, and really carving that path for myself has really made me somewhat resilient and confident in what I do, right? So I think that's probably, the biggest risk that I took at a young age. And I've continued with the risk-taking mentality, obviously calculated risk. I got a lot of people depending on me, like you said, Todd. So trying to make sure we take calculated and very intelligent risks, but not be afraid.
You got a lot of runway ahead. So this next question may land in a couple different places. But Erik, what is left yet unfinished that you have the resolve to complete?
Yeah, I mean, that's a heck of a question. And I would say the biggest thing is, serving my team and serving really my team at home, my kids, my 8 and 6-year-old Claire and Leo, and being a good dad and a good role model, not only for them, but for my team here at Braden and the community at large. So doing my best and partner up with Christ to help lead me the right direction in those paths is what I try to lean into. Because if I'm to my own devices, I'm not going to go very far.
Well, it's a perfect answer. So you scored an A+.
Yeah, well done. And Erik, I just want to give you just a personal kudos. I really meant it when your brand and just you as a person always shows up with energy, positivity, a smile on your face, and just a tenacity for relationships. That's a gift, and you carry it really well. So it's always good when we get to run into each other at school or otherwise. But I just want to encourage you with that.
Well, Ben, you're going to make me blush. I mean,
Oh,
last week on the beach. So you should likewise, Ben, you're a phenomenal character person. I tell anybody who mentions your name that you're a rock solid individual and company leader and visionary over there at Conner Insurance and just in life, which matters more than anything. And, I've just been grateful to be around you and we'll continue on this journey, man.
All right. Parallel tracks, starting with family business, 40 under 40, school and otherwise. But thanks for joining. Thanks to our listeners for joining another episode of Risk and Resolve. We will catch you next time.
Thanks for surviving. See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to Risk and Resolve. See you next time.